This African goddess was associated with fertility, protection, and the home. She was depicted as a feline and revered as a deity of the sun and the moon. Bastet was, first of all, the patron goddess of cats. Ancient Egyptians believed that she had the power to protect homes from evil spirits, misfortune, and diseases. But there was another side to her. She was feared as these two titles of her show. She was known as the Lady of Dread and the Lady of Slaughter. Here's something you probably didn't know. Cats were highly respected in ancient Egypt. Harming or killing a cat was considered a grave offense punishable by law. Temples dedicated to Bastet often housed large populations of cats, which were cared for by priests and priestesses. You probably know that the goddess Isis was very popular in ancient Egypt. Bastet was second only to her. One of the reasons Bastet was popular was because she was the protector of women and children. She protected the entire home. Bastet ensured the health and well-being of both the mother and the child throughout pregnancy and childbirth and was often invoked during rituals and ceremonies related to childbirth. So in this regard she was a fertility goddess. Owing to her association with fertility and pregnancy, Bastet also earned the title the Eye of the Moon. Feminine and reproductive qualities, in many ancient cultures, were given to the moon. Therefore, aside from the cat, the moon was considered a very important symbol of Bastet. At other times, she is often seen holding a sistrum in her right hand and an aegis, a breastplate, in the other hand. So I mentioned before about the Temple of Bastet. One of the most important sources about the city is Herodotus, the Greek historian. When he toured Egypt in the 5th century BC, Herodotus described the temple thus.
In this city there is a temple very well worthy of mention, for though there are other temples which are larger, and built with more cost, none more than this is a pleasure to the eyes. It stands on an island, 2 separate channels approach it from the Nile. The temple is in the midst of the city. A stone wall, carved with figures, runs round it. Within is a grove of very tall trees growing round a great shrine, wherein is the image of the goddess. The temple is a square, each side measuring a furlong. A road, paved with stone, leads to the entrance. This road is about 400 feet wide, and bordered by trees reaching to heaven.
Bastet was also known as the goddess of music and dance. And true to that, there was an annual festival of Bastet. It was one of the most important and widely celebrated events in ancient Egypt. It took place in the city of Bubastis, where the main temple dedicated to Bastet was located. The festival was a grand affair filled with music, dance, and revelry. Herodotus, the Greek historian, presents a vivid picture of the people traveling for the festival.
When the people are on their way to Bubastis, they go by river, a great number in every boat, men and women together. Some of the women make a noise with rattles, others play flutes all the way, while the rest of the women and the men sing and clap their hands. As they travel by river to Bubastis, whenever they come near any other town they bring their boat near the bank. Then some of the women shout mockery of the women of the town, others dance, and others stand up and lift their skirts. But when they have reached Bubastis, they make a festival with great sacrifices, and more wine is drunk at this feast than in the whole year besides. It is customary for men and women, but not children, to assemble there to the number of 700,000, as the people of the place say,